Welcome back to Studio B. This is BYU Sports Nation, and we now welcome in two former BYU greats, our dual threat analyst, Uncle B, Blaine Fowler, and joining us for back-to-back days as well is one of the greatest to ever shoot the ball at BYU.
That's right.
Jonathan Tavernari.
I'm the good luck charm. That's why we won yesterday.
Yeah, that's why you had to come
here,
back today.
Same seat, same position.
And by the way, he can still shoot it.
Yes, he can.
Yes, he can still shoot it.
I don't doubt it. Are you kidding me?
He can still shoot it, I promise you.
Absolutely. Okay, unique scenario here because BYU and Texas Tech are just about to tip off from Kansas City. We had great coverage from Jerem Jordan. He's now inside the building as Mark Pope and the Cougars look to get through the quarterfinals and just maybe a shot at Houston, assuming Houston beats TCU in the semifinals. So as you look at BYU and how they match up with Texas Tech this time around, Blaine, what jumps off the page between the Cougars and the Red Raiders?
Well, in that first meeting, and remember, this is all the way back in January, BYU came out of the locker room, and Texas Tech was, forced them to kind of get on their heels. And turnovers, when I look at numbers, they weren't crazy in terms of the number of turnovers, but the type of turnovers that BYU had in that game were deadly. We call them terminal turnovers when you turn it over in the backcourt and the other team just runs down and either dunks it or you follow them and they get to the free throw line. You just convert them to points. Keep in mind, BYU had 12 turnovers in that game, 22 points off of turnovers. A 1-to-1 ratio is considered a pretty efficient job of taking the turnovers you get and turning it into points.
Yeah.
12 to 22 is ridiculous. So what do I think is going to be different this time? BYU has gotten so much better in the backcourt, Dallin Hall, the whole group really, in pressure situations. Do they ever turn it over? Sometimes they do, but they seem to be able to reel it back in, and they do a much better job now than they did back then of taking care of the ball. And you'd rather throw it into Foose and have him hit it off his leg and have it go out of bounds so you can set your defense. So the type of turnovers they had in that game just killed them in that game. And I don't think that they're going to do that in this one.
We are officially tipped off in Kansas City, and JT, BYU made 13 threes in that first matchup against Texas Tech and lost, and they shot better than 32%. Like, the magic numbers in large part have been, hey, make at least 10 threes, and if you're shooting better than 32% on those threes, like, BYU typically wins the game. That was not the case, so it was an outlier. What do you feel like BYU needs to do today to have a shot, again, to get into the semifinals? How many threes do they need to make?
I don't necessarily think it's about the number of threes they make, right? I think it's more about how they're controlling the pace. Texas Tech is not a very tall team, not a very big team, but they are an up and down team, which is the way BYU likes to play. And so to me, just not only as the game as a whole, but, the game is getting started right now. The key to me becomes, can you control their run? Can you rebound the ball? And then can you convert, almost to Blaine's point, can you convert those turnovers into points? And then they're going to bound to make runs. I mean, was it 17 that we were up at that game and ended up losing it? And so can you control the runs? I think yesterday against UCF, BYU did a phenomenal job of controlling the UCF runs, especially at that, 12 to 8 minute mark in the second half as the point guard was just going crazy. And the game, I think, got cut down to about, 59, 56.
Yeah, 3-point game.
Yeah, and so to me, that becomes the key. Can you rebound enough? I feel like BYU can make enough shots. As long as they get good, wide open looks, I think they're going to get enough shots.
Well, as it stands, Texas Tech, like BYU did to UCF yesterday, as the rested team quickly out of the gate, they lead 7-0 right now. This is the Big 12. We have been prone to see big leads go away in a hurry. It happened yesterday when UCF cut BYU's lead from 18 down to 3. And again, the burstability of the Cougars as Trevin Nail misfires from 3. Blaine, I know you wanted to add to this conversation here.
Yeah, and for BYU, it's a slow start. BYU starts out 0 for 4 in this game, but it's not because they haven't gotten good looks. They have had wide open looks already in this game, and Texas Tech hasn't missed a shot yet. As you said, in Big 12 games, what we've seen is whoever comes out hot doesn't necessarily determine the game at this point in this league, because teams are going to make runs. You just expect that they're going to make runs, and it's how you manage the runs and how long those runs are and how you come back from those that make a difference. The other point I was going to make to add on to what Jonathan was saying in that last meeting, when Texas Tech got BYU on its heels, they were on their heels in every aspect of the game. Defensively, they seemed a little bit slow in that second half, and they fouled a bunch. So the two things that really stood out to me was the free throw differential in that game, and then the points off of turnovers, the turnover differential. And they didn't put enough pressure on Texas Tech to force them to do anything out of the ordinary. And so Texas Tech only had 6 turnovers in that game. So to me, BYU has to be a little more aggressive defensively. They got to defend without fouling if they can. Because in that last game, in the second half alone, Texas Tech was plus 12 in free throw makes. Combine that with being having 22 points off of turnovers. We're talking about Texas Tech was plus 18 in points off of turnovers, and in the second half alone, plus 12 in free throws made. That's a formula to lose again. That's a formula to lose by 20. And that didn't happen because BYU shot the ball so well in that first half. But and BYU finally now on the board in this game, they take it down low and get it to Khalifa. And Jonathan, you mentioned that this is a team that doesn't start a bunch of big guys, and BYU needs to take advantage of that. Without Warren Washington in this game at 7 feet tall, a big-time rim protector.
He scored 19 against BYU.
And he's a great rebounder. He changed a bunch of shots in the second half for BYU, and they did get shots at the rim. BYU, they're going to shoot threes. But when Texas Tech runs them off the three-point line, they need to not be afraid to attack the rim and go after it.
One thing that I would add to this is it's interesting that you just pointed that out. Washington was the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, he was a massive presence. I mean, he averages close to a double-double this year, right? Almost, 16 and 8. But to me, something that BYU, we haven't seen it, at least in a great number of situations, is, even with Foose, give the ball to him on a post, let him work. I feel like, and I tweeted this out yesterday after the game, one of the keys to me, I think, even with Ali Khalifa right now is the first bucket of the game, and they're going right back to it right now, which is a great thing. Let these guys post up, create a type of differentiator that's a great pass, but attack from inside. You have the size. I wouldn't be surprised if Foose has a heck of a game. I'm talking about, a 16 and 7 or something close to, 20 points and 10 boards. We've always wondered, hey, how is Foose going to fare against the bigger, stronger competition in the Big 12? And when healthy, he has been dominant. And so I think that this is the perfect game for Foose to just, establish himself and have a really good presence. The game is 12-2 right now, but as both of you mentioned, and we've seen all year long with all of the teams in the conference, it's a runs game, right? I mean, who's going to make the run? How they're going to react? BYU is going to shoot threes regardless. And so to me, it's a game that instead of being BYU is a perimeter-oriented team. I mean, you've called so many games that we, focus on outside. To me, this game today is we got to start the game from the inside out so that they can start collapsing and you can create some movement on the outside rather than, focusing on the three-point shots first. But I think focus as a secondary option after you pound the ball inside.
All right, let's take the wide-angle lens into this conversation and just look at what BYU's resume is right now. Incredibly, at worst, it feels like BYU's locked in a 5 seed. Is it fair to say that by BYU beating UCF and getting to the quarterfinals today, has BYU done enough to be a 5 seed in the NCAA tournament, Blaine?
Yeah, I felt like yesterday's game was to lock that 5 seed in. I felt like there was a chance, depending on what else happened in the rest of the country, that they could lose that game and still be a 5 seed. And my feeling all along was you win that game, you're absolutely a 5 seed. You win this game, because this is a quad 1 neutral court game, I think you're a 4 seed. And here's why I think that. Because then you're playing the #1 net team in the country in the semifinals. You could lose to Houston and move up.
Isn't that interesting?
So you win this game. The worst case scenario, you stay at 12, maybe you move to 11 in the net, right? And then you could go lose to Houston and move up, which is crazy to think. But that's the #1 net team, the #1 it's the #1 team in the country right now. And so that Houston game almost doesn't even matter. So get through this one. I believe a win here puts you in a 4 seed,
wow,
which probably puts you in Salt Lake City. So there is a lot riding on this one.
I'll play devil's advocate for a sec. on the right here, I was listening to the radio, and someone mentioned that the committee has come out and made a statement that, about 23 of the at-large bids are pretty much kind of sad with the conferences, but they are almost done setting the seats and the at-large bids. And so I do think, to kind of play a little bit of devil's advocate, I always wondered how games like this in a tournament, do you move up a spot? Do you move down a spot? How much can really BYU, what jump can BYU make if they go from, a 5 to a 4? If they win it all, can they go to a 3?
Yeah.
And so those are things that I've always been curious about.
Hey, great stuff thus far with Jonathan Tavernari and Blaine Fowler as our Altcast continues here live on BYU Sports Nation. The Cougars trailing 12-2. An injury to Darian Williams, however, for Texas Tech happened just a few minutes ago. How will that impact the game? And Jonathan brought up the 3-seed potential. Is there any legitimacy to that if BYU does something special in Kansas City? Stay with us for more BYU Sports Nation.